Alright, so it's finally happened. Obviously, by the title, you know what is going down. But yesterday, the final card in my deck finally came in, and I'm gonna show you all the cards I myself own, not stuff my sister owns or Edward owns. My Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Anyways, before we look into them, I have my deck itself, which I'm going to be doing last, of course, and then I have a binder of cards. I will be showing that first. But anyways, let's get on to the cards, shall we? Also, yeah, I'm kind of in the lobby. How's it going? User Riha says hi. Okay, so here's the binder full. Well, here's the binder. Sorry, I had to burp. But anyways, here's the binder. As you can see, there's nothing special about it, so let's just go into the binder, shall we? Now we got the first page of cards. Now, most of these were actually bought, like, on eBay. We actually bought a good amount of these. Like, it was a lot, but you know what? Sometimes you get cards you won't use and might need to use in the future. But anyways, we got a Polymerization, March of the Monarchs, oh, that's a nice effect. The little downside is like the special monsters, like from the Fusion monsters, stuff like that. We'll get to those here later. Trickstar Nightshade. Yeah, it kind of sucks, attack and defense wise, but the effect is pretty decent, I guess. Royal Writ of Taxation. I don't know. Final attack orders. This would actually really come in handy, but with how I have my deck built, yeah, pointless. Ego Boost. I've got like another one of these. I think. It's kind of. Langling. I mean, it's a dragon, so it's pretty neat. The skill cards, I don't know how to use these things. I have no intention to, so let's just move on. Or a Unicorn. Now, Yugi used this in like one duel early on in Duelist Kingdom. Hold on. But yeah, again, Yugi used this card once early on in Duelist Kingdom. I had it on my deck originally, but decided to let it go because, as well as Polymerization that we looked at first. Trickstar Mandrake. Defense wise, it's good, but attack wise, absolute garbage. Why is my camera going off focus? Oh well. I'm just gonna like show each row at a time, because why not? Concentrating current. That would come in handy probably if I like plan on making a second deck sometime, which I honestly might do eventually if I get tired of using this one coming up. But yeah, there's a couple more here that I was gonna use, but decided just leave them out because again, you'll see why. One Summerfeed Takwa would really come in handy, actually, now that I think about it. And, of course, more skill cards, which is... Yeah, my cards themselves are $20. I have a 60 card deck, well, about 60 or more card deck. It's crazy how much you spend on my deck. But anyway, yeah, I got this. This also, this thing right here cost me almost $3, pretty much. I mean, and I can't even use the card without the Toon World field spell card, so that kind of sucks. But you know what? At least I have it. And we got these two. Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress. Yugi used that like once or twice in Duelist Kingdom. I think he uses it again later on. I'm not sure. I'm still at Season 2. This is the Battle City arc, so yeah. But anyway, let's keep going. Now, Zombina here was originally going to be part of my deck as well, but removed it. With how it's going to be, you'll see later on. Also, as I'm editing this video and recording off and on, I'm playing this in the meantime. I did pretty good these past several matches, so yeah, there's that. But anyways, back to the video. Okay, so this is where the special monsters start. Like, I have no idea how to use, like, synchros, fucking Link monsters especially. I have no idea how to work those things. XYZ monsters, I kinda do. I have a couple, I think. Not many, but... again, yeah. Synchro monsters, I don't know how to use. But yeah, I had no plans on using either of these in my deck. And now, these. Summoned Skull and Giant Soldier Stone I was thinking about adding, but then I thought, nah. Edward doesn't have a deck, so he might want those. These are also cards these two are also cards Yugi used quite a bit in Duelist Kingdom and Battle City as well. Against the Rare Hunter. I mean, spoilers, but if you want to watch the original Yu-Gi-Oh! As well as all the other seasons and movies, except like the most recent one, all of that except the most recent movie is on Tubi. It's free. This isn't a sponsorship or anything, but it is free to sign up for. You know, subscription required, but it does have ads. So, yeah. But, you know, it's fine. It's a good show. Yeah, anyways. Back on topic. Yeah, these I had zero plans on adding as well. Like, these... Like Dark Lord monsters, I don't have any of those things. Yeah, move on to this. Again, Vendread stuff like that I don't use. I don't think I have any of that stuff, thing like that. Whatever. The Zodiac Cataroost. I mean, I guess I got then like a booster pack or something like that. I just like a pack of like 10 cards or so. Maybe 15, I forgot, but again, didn't add any of these to my deck, obviously. Now, the only one of these three I know is the Mystical Elf, because Yugi used the Mystical Elf against Mai in Duelist Kingdom. I mean, I'm spoiling it, but I'm not spoiling exactly what happens in any of the duels or whatever, but yeah. Again, another synchro. I have no idea how to use synchros, stuff like that. I have no idea what a tuner and non-tuner monster is. I mean, I was thinking of adding Catapult Turtle, but I thought what would be the point? Like, I would have to tribute what monster to do stuff like that. Ugh. I really don't want to do that. So I decided to leave it out. But yeah, let's head on to the next page, shall we? Okay, now for these next two pages. This thing looks like a fucking lost evolution. I have no idea what this thing is. I mean, you can't really see it because we're not focused, but I have no idea what that is. And then there's this thing. I think I got this in like another like 15 card thing. I'm not sure. Anyways, yeah, let's move on. Yeah, I think almost everything from here on out was from either a 15 card thing or just random cards. It was, I mean, the 15 card packs are like random anyway, but still. Yeah, you'll see like at least one more of these. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Each psychic type monster. I don't have a single psychic type monster, I don't think, so yeah, it's kind of worthless, which is why I don't have it in my deck. And this thing, ritual spell, that would come in handy if, you know, I had like Blackluster Soldier or Blackluster Ritual to summon Blackluster Soldier. And then there's these two. This thing I was planning on adding to my deck, but decided not to. This is another thing I wanted to add to my deck. Just didn't. This, I didn't. So yeah. I might make like another deck or something like that. Eventually, maybe. But yeah, I think I'm good with the one for now. Again, we'll get to that later. Again, there's a Link monster. I have no idea how to fucking do these things. And then these two, I had no plan on using in my deck. Now, the only card of these three I was planning on using in a deck was this one. But then I saw that cannot be normal summoned, or yeah, I don't have any of that, I don't think, so I couldn't. I decided to just leave it. And out of these three, I was thinking of adding this, but I figured it would be pointless, so I didn't add them. I've got like another one, I think. These two, I can't. I mean, the bear blocker I could use, but no, decided not to. This, I don't have Raid Raptor monsters. 3 or more level 2 monsters. Yeah, again, XYZ monsters, pretty simple to use. But Link monsters, synchros, stuff like that, I don't know how to use. And I don't think I have very many level 2 monsters to begin with. So, yeah, I didn't add that to my extra deck. I have it added to my main deck because, I have to. So I know where they are. And none of... Wait a minute. It was level 2 monsters. Again, these cards... Again, kind of useless for the deck I wanted to make. So, yeah, I didn't add them. Okay, now these are just spells and traps. Like, the only thing that would be, like, useful in my deck would be this one, but decided not to add it. So it's whatever. These three, I didn't have really anything for this, so I didn't add this. Yeah, Morphtronic monster you control. I don't have any in my deck, so that was useless. I was thinking of adding this. But then, again, decided not to. Malefic Divide. I don't have a Malefic card or anything like that, so... I mean, I had the Malefic Red Eyes, but... I don't have that anymore, so it's useless. Oh, let me fix that. I have no idea why they're like that, but they just are. Again, these don't really... didn't really fit in, so I didn't add them. Melodious Maestro, I don't have that, I don't think. And one Melodious Monster, I don't think I have either of those. So this couldn't really be a thing. I do like it though, it looks neat. Again, there's a Revenge of the Normal. And again, Dino Wrestler Monsters. I think this is the only one I have, so I didn't add it. But let's move on to the next page. Okay, starting off this page. Well, at least 2 pages, I should say. Like, the only one I was really thinking of adding to my deck would be this, but this is probably... I think this is the only Sniffer Dragon I had, so I just thought, no thank you, and just moved on. These, I didn't have, I had 0 plans to add to my deck, so there's really nothing to write home about here. Again, 3 more cards I have 0 plans on adding to a deck at all, so again, nothing to write home about. Now, Brain Control. Like, I have one of these in my deck. And here's the thing about, though, I didn't know I wasn't sure if I was going to get a Brain Control when I got my thing of 100 cards, which is what a hefty amount of what's in here in my deck is made out of. So I added one to my cart just in case, because I wanted a Brain Control. And sure enough, I got a Brain Control and a thing of 100 cards. So I have 2. And that's a duplicate. Like, I'm not a big fan of the insect monsters. Just, not that I have a fear of them, I'm just not interested in them. So no, thank you. Beaver Warrior Yugi had this in Battle City. I know he does. I just haven't seen the episode it's in yet. I was thinking of adding it to my deck, but obviously didn't. Let's go on to this next row. Volcanic Scattershot. The art looks like the thing was fucking burning alive. I mean, it's a fire monster, so duh. But other than that, the art, it's whatever. And these two. Obviously, you can read them. There's nothing to write home about. So, moving on to the next row for this page. Shaman Great Eagle would probably be, something useful if I had the right cards and setup, but I mean, same with these other two, but didn't care for them, so I didn't add them. Let's move on. So yeah, I got 2 perfects in a row, and you can obviously see who with, so you're not surprised there. But anyways, again, I'm getting off topic here and there, I know, but I just really enjoy this game. Okay, so these next 3 cards, again, we got a Link monster. Kind of pointless since I don't know how to fucking do those things. Metamorphotress, or whatever the fuck that's pronounced, didn't really care for. Mystic Tomato, on the other hand, would be useful in my deck, but decided not to add it, so I didn't. These 3 really didn't interest me very much. Yeah. Especially the Burning Land, it's kind of pointless, because I have field spell cards, but again, didn't add them to my deck, so pointless. Plus, I'm not a big fan of winged beasts, mostly, and dinosaur monsters. I left those out. Yeah, Duro Invader. Yeah, I told you I had like at least one more. And there it is. And Diplexer Chimera. 2 Cyberse monsters. Now you'd think one of the fusion materials required for Diplexer Chimera would be Chimera. Which you also need a Baphomet and Gazelle to fuse first, and then you need a fuse that was like a Cyberse monster, and yeah, you'd expect that, but apparently not. Ghost Trick Museum. I don't have any Ghost Trick monsters, I'm sure, so useless. These didn't really have a plan to add to my deck, so I didn't do it. Now, this Mystic Box I have, and I had duplicates, so I put one in my deck, and here's a spare one, just in case, like, Edward wants it. Relieve monster would come in handy in very tight situations, but and I got other things in my deck to help out, something like that. And this Chain Thrasher I didn't really care for. Now do this bottom row. Mystical Moon. I have like Baphomet in my deck, but other than that, I don't think I have any other beast type monsters. So I left Mystical Moon out. Pendulum monsters, I forgot were a fucking thing. I have no idea how to use those either. So I didn't. 3 strikes barrier. Yeah, with the way it has to work, I just couldn't. I just didn't feel like adding it to my deck. So I didn't. And now we go on to the last, I mean not the last few pages, next couple pages. Now for these next couple pages, Makiyu would be useful, but again, since I don't have Summon Skull or a Thunder type monster in my deck, it's kind of like useless. So I don't have it. These two, again, one of them's a Pendulum monster. I have no idea how to fucking use those things or anything, so didn't bother. This thing, I just didn't really interest me. These three didn't interest me very much either. I mean, they're pretty cool, but they just... I just felt they didn't sit right with my deck and how I wanted it to be, so I just put them in here. Two Pendulum monsters and a trap card. That trap card just really doesn't... kind of stupid, really. So now we move on to this page. Soul Taker would probably be a bad move, so I didn't add it.
This is me, Edward, and Kendall.
This card in the middle, 0 attack, 0 defense. And the effect says you can't normal or special summon dark type monsters. Well, I've got quite a few in my deck, as you'll find out here soon enough. So yeah, that was out. And then this thing just didn't interest me. So I didn't care for it. I've got a Link monster. So I didn't, yeah. A thing for XYZ monsters. I don't have any XYZ monsters in my extra deck. And since I don't have a ritual monster in my deck or anything, Breaking of the World would be useless. Then there's like nothing here. It control exactly one tuner monster. I don't know what a fucking tuner monster is. Therefore, yeah, don't have a use for that card. And then, yeah, these two just didn't interest me very much, so I didn't bother. Starting with the last 2 pages, finally. Well, more like 1.5, I guess, almost. Got one Link monster and a field spell card. Don't really care for those, so... And then there's this thing. I'm not a big fan of machine monsters, so I didn't add it. And here it is. We got fucking Owl from Winnie the Pooh here. Winnie the Pooh. What the fuck did I just... We got fucking Owl from Winnie the Pooh here without his glasses. Yeah, I don't have fright fur. I'm actually I might have fright fur. I don't care though. So matching outfits. Why do these motherfuckers look like Namekians? Yeah, matching outfits kind of sucks. So yeah, didn't care. Didn't add it. This thing. I just didn't have any interest in. So yeah. And then we got another Link monster. Oh, ow. And another field spell card. Don't care for that. AI Shadow. Come on, get in focus. I have an Ignister monster, but it's a Synchro, so that was useless. And then, yep, this page, as you can see, like partially empty. So these are the last few cards in the binder. As you can see, yeah, these things weren't very interesting to me, really. Also note that a lot of these cards are first edition, which came to be a surprise to me, so yeah, I'd bring that up just because. Then we got another Cyberus monster. Again, not my thing. And a Pendulum monster, which looks kind of fucking useless. So nothing to really write home about. And that does it for the binder. Next, time to move on to the deck itself. Okay, so I'm recording this the day after I recorded the stuff in the binder because, you know, John had his friends over, he had his music blasting, and because of copyright reasons I couldn't record, so I decided to record the second part. So here it is. Let's get started with my deck. Now the first thing in my deck is, yes, it is in a Sirfetch'd deck box or whatever, so it is in a Pokemon themed type thing. Let me know if you think this is a disgrace to my deck or not. But anyways, let's open it, shall we? This is kind of hard to do with one hand. Oh, I got it. Never mind. Okay, so first up is a Dark Magician Girl. My favorite monster of them all. I don't have just one. I have the maximum of one monster you can have in a deck, which is 3. So yeah, 3 different arts. I think this is one of the hardest arts you can like get. I mean, this one was almost $3. So yeah. I mean, it's not the hardest one you can find, obviously, but it is pretty hard to find. We got basically, if you know the Yu-Gi-Oh lore, you got Dark Magician Girl herself again, but not really Dark Magician Girl. One thing you could tell that proves that they're the same monster is if my camera would get in focus. It's busy focusing on my other cards. 2,000 attack points, 1,700 defense. And then you look at this. Same points. Like, and there's obviously no way, because it's a coincidence, because again, if you know the lore, Mayana is actually Dark Magician Girl. So, yeah. And now we got my second favorite monster, the Silent Magician. The adult Silent Magician, I should say. 3,500 attack points, 1,000 defense. Yeah, and as you can see by the effect, yeah, can't be normal summoned because of this. I'ma be quiet so you can, well, you can at least pause it to read this, but yeah, this is why it's got 3,500 attack instead of 1,000 with some, like the level 4 does. And then you got my Dark Magician. This thing came in with, this thing was guaranteed with a thing of 100 cards. This was one of the 100 cards, and I obviously kept it. I can't stand to see a Dark Magician without a Dark Magician girl. It's just not right. Okay, so next up, we have my favorite of the 3 Egyptian god cards, Slifer, the Sky Dragon. Yeah, like, I don't care if they're first edition or anything like that. Like, I really honestly found the cheapest because, again, I buy, like, somewhere around, like, almost 10 cards most of the time at once, so with that, I try to get the cheapest as possible, and surprisingly enough, this is, like, $175, which isn't too bad. Plus, again, it's my favorite of the Egyptian gods, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Put that there. Yeah, I have my own little stack of cards I've shown over here already. And I'm messing it up the more you mess with it. And then the Winged Dragon of Ra. If you look at the corner here of the art, there's a little signature. That's pretty fucking cool. Paid again almost $2 for this one. Not a bad price, especially for a card that has a signature on it. It's really neat. Plus, it's pretty. So, yeah. And next up, we have my least favorite of the Egyptian gods, but I got it anyway. Obelisk, the Tormentor. Yes, I have all 3 Egyptian gods. These are all, like, they're all either first edition. I mean, they're all prismatic secret rares, so, I mean, that's pretty neat. Again, I actually paid $2 for this one, pretty much. Yeah, figured if you really neat edition, they all are, honestly. I think this is an expensive deck. Like, this is at least $60 for this deck. So, yeah, it was definitely worth it, I think. Next up, Guardian Eatos. And I traded my sister for this Guardian Eatos when I started actually getting cards. Like, I like the artwork for Guardian Eatos, and it's one I am very familiar with for bad reason, of course, but you know, I'm so familiar with it, and I like the artwork, so I figured, you know what, why not? Yeah. Next up, Jax Knight. Obviously, it's a Jax Knight. I have Queen's Knight and King's Knight coming up next, so let me just grab those two real quick. God. Sorry about that cut. These things are like really falling out of my hand a couple times, so Yeah, as you can see, you got Jack's Knight, Queen's Knight, and King's Knight. These came in with a thing of 100 cards, which is really neat. Now that Guardian Eatos I showed off previously, I didn't come with any of the cards I got at all. Again, I traded my sister for it. So, yeah. But these three did. And I thought they would be a great addition, especially since, you know, my deck is mostly Yugi themed. Like, I have cards from almost every arc with Yugi. Every arc of Yugi's deck. I have cards made of almost every arc, so yeah. Celtic Guardian. A classic. Yugi during Duelist Kingdom and early on in Season 2. Yugi played this like first almost every time. He played it a lot in Duelist Kingdom actually, so yeah. Obviously had to add this. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Next up we have Curse of Dragon. It looks fucking badass. Like, again, another one Yugi played a lot in Duelist Kingdom. So, yeah. I have mostly the card. Most of a good amount of this deck is cards Yugi used in Duelist Kingdom. Speaking of which, here's another one. Gaia the Fierce Knight. Again, another Duelist Kingdom card Yugi used quite a bit. There's going to be a card coming up here later on with for these two come in handy. So yeah. Next up, we have Breaker the Magical Warrior. This was the monster Yugi used against Weevil, where he used Berserker Soul. This card fucking... That seed is so fucking badass. It's on YouTube. I recommend watching it. It's really good. Both the Japanese version and English dub. They're both really good. Again, watch it. It's pretty cool. Alright, so up next we got Deep Sea Minstrel. This isn't one I got from the thing of 100 cards. This I actually got from like a thing of like 15 cards. And again, it's not a card Yugi used. It's just a card I added in just because, along with the Guardian Eatos and everything, I just added it in. I mean, unlike the Guardian Eatos, this I added in for a card I'm gonna be showing off here later on. So yeah, I mean, it's not a bad card, I guess, but it's basically just fodder for something coming up. Oh, coming up, we've got 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, if the camera will focus. Yes, all the same art, so since I have 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, you know what's gonna be coming up later on. Yeah. So yeah. That's pretty neat. Just let me fix these over here. And here we got Big Shield Gardena. Not good on attack, but where it lacks in attack, it makes up for in defense. So if I'm ever in a tight spot and I don't have certain cards coming up later on, this is gonna be my go-to if I have it in my hand for defense. Next up, we got Buster Blader. Really good card, gotta say. And this is one that came in my thing of 100 cards. Another one of Yugi's cards. And since I showed off my Dark Magician earlier, got Buster Blader, and you know what, and if you don't know why I bring Dark Magician as well as this, you'll find out here later on. That's Baphomet. A really fucking badass monster. I like it. One Yugi uses starting in Battle City, I believe. Throughout most of the rest of the series, so yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't have Gazelle, and therefore don't have the fusion monster Chimera. But I do have Baphomet. I was thinking of buying them sometime. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, again, pretty cool card. No one of Yugi's. It came in the thing of 100 cards. And here's another card I added in for fodder for another card that coming in later on. The art's nice, so I gotta give them that, but other than that, yeah, it's basically just fodder for another card. And coming up, the last of Yugi's monster cards that I have added to my deck is Archfiend of Guilford. He uses this, starting with Battle City. I have no idea what I just said. He starts using this at Battle City, so again, I haven't seen the episode yet, but he does have it. Cool art. And it's a really good card, though, too. Look at this attack defense on top of the effect. That's really fucking good for a card. Yeah, pretty badass card. Again, last of Yugi's monsters that I have in my deck. Now to move on to the rest of the non-Yugi monsters, like Deep Sea Minstrel, the Mermail, and Guardian Yatos weren't Yugi monsters, but now we go on to the real non-Yugi monsters. Starting off with Harpy Lady 1. I mean, I have... Hold on. I have Harpy Lady 1, 2, 3, and Harpy Lady Sisters. So yeah, for those who don't know, these are the sort of the cards Mai uses. So yeah, I had to have full set. I mean, they came with what I bought. I mean, I bought my starter deck for $20, and it was my lucky day when I got it, because it was the last one available. So, yeah. More cards I'm familiar with. Pretty nice cards. Plus a character, they belong to a character I like in the anime who deserves more appreciation, because she's a good character. She's a really good character. She needs more appreciation. Her cards are also really good. Next up, Two Bird Faces. Yeah, funny name for a card. Pretty even on attack and defense. Not bad. Plus, again, look at the effect. That on top of my Harpy Ladies and a couple of cards coming later on. Yeah, really good additions, I thought. This deck, I actually put a lot of thought into. Not just a lot of money, but a lot of thought into as well and everything. So it was really good. I think I did a good job. The Sonic Shooter. It looks like Riku from fucking, or however you pronounce his name. He looks like Riku from Darkstalkers, except not blue. And not a fish man. Therefore, he's not strangely attractive for a fish man. I mean, not good on defense, pretty decent on attack, I suppose. Really good, but the effect makes up for it. Here's the effect. It's really good. So yeah. Again, I put a lot of thought and effort into this deck, so... Oh, we're moving on to the final three normal monsters now. And I said normal monsters. Amazonas Chainmaster. Pretty good attack and defense. I mean, but the effect is a double-edged sword. Like, sure, you could get a monster from your opponent's hand to your hand, but because of that, you pay life points, which would be a really costly move. I mean, of course, again, you can choose not to use the effect, so... Yeah, there's that, but other than that, yeah, it's a pretty good card, I suppose. Amazonas Swordswoman. I mean, the attack and defense of Chainmaster are kind of reversed for this one. Instead of 1600 attack and 1500 defense, it's 1500 attack and 1600 defense. So, I mean, still not very different, I suppose. But the effect was really fucking good. Say, like, they tried to win like 3,000 damage to me for like a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Instead, I can activate this effect and they take 3,000 or whatever instead. It's fucking hilarious. Oh, it's a good card, actually. And now the last normal monster is the Amazonas Sage. I mean, pretty mediocre defense at like 700, 1400 attack, not too bad. What's the effect? If I'll get in focus. I mean, it's an okay effect, I suppose. But then again, accidents can happen, so yeah, again, it's an average card, I suppose. Nothing to write home about, but it's certainly not bad either. And now we move on to the other stuff. Okay, to start off this portion of the video, start off with my favorite fusion monster, Dark Magician Girl the Dragon Knight. Now this thing is my most expensive card. It was $4.95, basically like $5. And I mean, it was worth it because, you know, I love my Dark Magician Girl, so I had to get it. And here she is. She doesn't gain any defense, and she only gains like 600 attack. But her effect, yeah, really good for an effect. I mean, she doesn't gain much in attack and defense, but good effect, and I like her anyway, so even if she was bad, I'd still take her. As for this next card, when I mentioned the Buster Blader and Dark Magician earlier, this is what I was referencing. Dark Paladin. Doesn't have its stats aren't accurate to what the anime has, but yeah, the effects are really good. So yeah, sure, it's not as broken as it is in the anime, but still a pretty cool card. You all probably figured this was coming, but Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I mean, what do I have to say about this? It's Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. No, nothing more needs to be said, so I'm just going to move on. And now the last fusion monster I have in my deck, Gaia the Dragon Champion. So this, of course, Gaia the Fierce Knight and Curse of Dragon. I mean, it doesn't really gain much stat-wise, and there's no effect. But Yugi did use this in, like, Duelist Kingdom. So, cool card. Doesn't gain much when fusion summoned, but still not that too bad of a card. Now we go on to the spells and traps, which are the last things in my deck. Starting off, polymerization. Like, it's a polymerization. I'm sure you should know what polymerization does. It allows you to fuse monsters together, and yeah. Don't have to say anything more about that. Mystic Box. Another one Yugi used quite a bit in Duelist Kingdom. I mean, it's a risky card, but you know what? I like it. And I added it. Monster Reborn. Again, self-explanatory, you could read the effect. And another thing about Monster Reborn, it does work on fusion monsters. So all my fusion monsters and everything, I can bring back with this. Next card up is Soldier Revealing Light. What this spell does, it entraps your opponent's monsters for 3 turns so they can't attack. Now, I'm still unsure if it works against monsters if your opponent summons them. If your opponent summons a monster after you activate it, I'm unsure about that. I'll have to do research after this video, but yeah, pretty decent card. But of course, since it is a spell card, and I do have cards that can like negate its activation and stuff like that, it's all spells and traps are kind of pretty risky in the first place anyway, so yeah. Again, decent card. Yugi uses it. It's a good card. Next up, we have Brain Control. I mentioned early on in the video that I had 2 of these, and this one was the one that came with the thing of 100 cards. And this card allows me to pay 800 life points to take control of an opponent's monster for my turn. So, yeah. And this is actually the card that Yugi beat Pegasus with in Duelist Kingdom. Yeah, it's fun. It's a nice little card. I'm glad I added it to my deck. Now this card right here. This next card is what I mentioned the fodder for earlier. is the Berserker Soul. This card right here is the card that made that iconic scene in the original series. The good one, the one I care about, the only one I care about, really. The iconic scene where Weevil and Atem are fighting on the train. This was the card that allowed Atem to win the duel. And after that, I don't think we see or hear from Weevil ever again. But what Berserker Soul does is it allows me to. First I have to attack my opponent directly with a monster that has 1500 attack points or less. I mean, I've obviously got stuff for that. And then I have to discard my entire hand with the minimum of one card in it. And that allows me to draw up to 8 cards. If they're all monsters. Or I draw a spell or trap card. And if I do draw a spell or trap card, I have to then play the spell or trap card I drew on top of my deck, and then that really ends my turn. But yeah, badass card. I wanted this. I saw that scene and I'm like, I want that card. That card is awesome. And here it is. So, oh man, I'm thirsty. Next up, we have Spell Shattering Arrow. Pretty self-explanatory name, if you look at the effect. Yeah, kinda sucks. In some aspects, but in other aspects, could be useful. But I literally have this just in case. Next up, Amazoness Heirloom. I don't really read the ones for Mai's card. I don't really read the effects of Mai's spell trap cards much. Only the monsters, really. But here's this one. Not bad, actually. Pretty decent card. Just, yeah. It works. And I have 2 Elegant Egotists, which basically allows me to summon Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters. Which, yeah, that's really all these do. Yeah, and add that to a bird face. 2 bird faces I have. There we go. Alright, the last 4 spell cards here. Triangle Ecstasy Spark. If it camera to focus. They're really good card though. It comes in handy. I've only got one, but you know what? One Harpy Lady Sisters, but you know what? I'm sure it'll get the job done. And Cyber Shield basically, yeah, it just gains 500. The equipped monster, it obviously needs to be certain monsters. It just gains 500 attack. That's it. That's all it really does. On to the next spell card. Harpy's hunting ground. It lost. It went out of focus. Alright, there you go. It went out of focus again. Yeah, it's a problem with this thing, but you know what? It's a good card. I get to destroy a spell trap card if I summon Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters. Good card. Really useful. And my last spell card is Monster Recovery. The effect, if it would get in focus. This is the effect. Pause the video and read it. Yeah. And now we move on to the trap cards. How many do I have? Now for the trap cards, there's only 9 left. I have 9 cards left and they're all trap cards. Starting off the trap cards, the last thing for this video is Amazoness Archers. This is a good fucking... Oh, that's a really good card. Trap card. It's really useful. And with the 3 Amazoness monsters I have, yeah. Definitely a good addition. Like, I thought long and hard about this deck. Like, I figured, yeah, this is the best way to go. And then Wild Tornado. Which, yeah. Yeah, I think this goes for monster cards. The second effect, I think it goes for monster cards as well, if it's face up. So, yeah, pretty cool. If used correctly, I suppose. Straighten these up. Next up, we got Magical Hats. I have Dark Magician. If you've seen the anime, you know what I'm trying to do with this card. This is a decent card. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, I'm trying to. You know what I'm trying to do. If you've seen you use it in the anime, you know what I'm trying to do with that. So again, watch the anime. It's really good. The original is, at least. I can't say anything about the others because I refuse to watch them. But anyways, let's. Shadow of Eyes. Creepy looking card. Because again, it's just a pair of eyes. And why isn't it in focus? Get in focus, you fuck. God damn it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's basically all it does. If my opponent sets like a monster in like attack and defense position, face up, face down, or whatever, or face down and attack or defense position, it goes face up. That's really all it does. So yeah, they can't really defend if I play that. Next up, Spellbinding Circle. Yugi used this in the duel against Pegasus, actually. Which makes it to where... Yeah, this is the effect. It's a good card. It's a permanent trap card, too. Unless, it gets destroyed by either what this effect says or if cards like some of mine can destroy spells or traps. But yeah. Yeah, decent card. Next up is Mirror Force. Yeah, the effect is pretty self-explanatory. Don't really have much to say there. Let's move on. My last 3 cards. Pretty decent. Next up, Enchanted Javelin. Which makes it to where if my opponent attacks me, I can activate this card, and I gain the amount of life points the monster that's attacking me. Say, like, my opponent attacks me with a monster with, like, 3,000 attack. I gain 3,000 life points when I activate this card, and I'm not sure. I'll have to do some research on this, some more research on this, but I believe I'm gonna go with that. Even if I do activate this card and gain those life points, I just lose those life points immediately. Anyway, that's what I'm going with. So if I get like 2,000 life points, since if my opponent played a monster with 2,000 attack points, I gain 2,000 life points, then I just immediately lose those life points, and I just have the amount of life points I had before I activated this card. I believe that's what it is. So yeah, decent card. Come in handy in a tight spot. Alright, next up, we have Armor Recall, which basically just lets me, yeah, the effect speaks for itself. And now, for the final card in my deck, this was the last card that came in the mail a couple days ago when I'm recording this. It is my Prismatic Secret Rare Black Illusion. The artwork's not really anything to write home about, but it's shiny, so that's pretty cool. Its effect allows me to, hold on, it needs to get in focus first. I need to show you. It'd be better to show you than to actually tell you. Get in focus! Come on. Please. This is the last card. Camera, this is the last card. But yeah, this is, yeah. This card right here is the reason why I have all 3 of my Dark Magician girls in my deck. This card is why. Yeah, and on top of that, my Dark Magician is also a Dark Spellcaster, so... yeah, pretty decent card. And yeah, that is... And with that being shown, that's every card I currently own. And yeah, this was a very random video, different from what I normally do. And especially with how long it is. But yeah, anyways, with that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.